والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. قل رب زدني علما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون. ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. So yesterday we began the discourse on these ayats which, subhanAllah, it contains oceans of instructions and reflections. And basically, just to recap the summary that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us after enjoining us with taqwa and holding onto the rope of Allah jami'an collectively, and to ensure that this takes place and continues up to the Day of Judgment. There must be a party among you, there must be a group among you that invites towards good, enjoins right, forbids evil, enjoins ma'ruf. We talked about ma'ruf and munkar. So we need to talk about this a little bit more and explain a little bit more, because this is everybody's duty. It's not just the government's duty or the ulama's duty. It's actually everyone's duty to some extent or the other, to a larger extent or a lesser extent, to a more general extent or a more specialized extent. So, يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ must invite towards good. Everybody, as we said yesterday, everybody has to invite to good. So number one, we have to do good. And to do good, before that, we have to know what is good. So therefore, the requisite knowledge to know what is ma'ruf and what is munkar, this is fard. So obviously, as Nabi Sallallahu mentioned, talab al-ilm fard ala kulli Muslim. So seeking that knowledge to know what is right and what is wrong, because to live a life of ubudiyya for which we've been created, that is the first criteria, to know what is right and what is wrong. And then once we know what is right and wrong, second thing is to do it and ensure that we are doing it correctly and properly under the guidance of the people who know, who are authorities to tell us and teach us and inform us such. And thereafter, we have to inform others. Now the question comes up, okay, we know that this is right, but we're not capable, or we're not at this point in time doing it totally ourselves. So are we allowed, or moreover, are we also required to invite others? So yes. And Imam Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala, he explains this very clearly, that actually there's two responsibilities here. One is that we do what is right, and secondly, that we enjoin what is right. So if we're not doing what is right, then we're making a blunder. And if we're also not inviting to what is right, we're making two blunders. So if we're not doing, but we recognize the fact that we're perhaps not performing up to the mark, but we intend to do so, and we'll also enjoin others, realizing that the first person we're enjoining is we ourselves. Therefore, anyone who invites to something, for example, I'm inviting you all, so first of all, I'm the first one who is being addressed. So I address myself first and others along with me. Therefore, we usually say, we need to do this, we need to do that. We shouldn't, myself included, moreover myself before others, and the Muslim need. So we have to carry out both things. So Shaitan says, look, you're not doing it, so don't even talk about it. Otherwise that's total hypocrisy. No. Yes, if you are not doing it and you have no intention of it, but you're merely to show others, or for whatever reason, or because you're being paid to do so, or whatever, you're in for death. Yes, that's hypocrisy. But the fact that we're inviting others, because that is a way to promote and push ourselves as well. So this is very critical. Okay? So we need to invite others. Now, what do we invite to? This is very critical. And we mentioned that there are three prophetic spheres of effort: da'wat, ta'aleem, and tarbiyah. So da'wat is invitation. An invitation, da'wat here, is inviting to Allah, inviting to the actions which connect us to Allah, and inviting towards the outcomes of the obedience of Allah or the obedience of the disobedience, the outcomes of the disobedience, what will happen. So a general understanding of that everybody should have is everybody needs to invite, and everybody can and should and must. Everybody knows, every Muslim knows that Allah is one, and we look at the creations we mentioned and we reflect on that. We should invite others to that, and in doing so we are affirming and reinforcing our own iman. This is also a very critical point, that giving da'wat and inviting others is a means of boosting and enhancing our own iman, with the condition that we have that in mind, that we are trying to improve ourselves and elevate our own iman as well. Not that, I know and I'm a mu'min and and therefore, one of our mashayikh, he said a very interesting thing. He said, we should invite to iman and belief in Allah, not what we think we've achieved, but what we know we haven't achieved and we aspire to achieve. And in this way, we prevent ourselves from falling into arrogance. I have this iman and I have this belief and I'm doing this. I realize I don't have that. But I'm inviting to that which I myself am aspiring to, and I'm joining everyone else along with that invitation. And so we have much to say through these ayats, so inshallah we'll continue this on the installment basis, so that we don't get, people don't run away because of the extension of time. We used to listen to our teachers for hours and hours on end, but people have difficulty listening for minutes on end, so we'll keep it short and sweet. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.